So a very good evening, everyone in Japan, and good afternoon to the attendees from India and other South Asian countries. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Swapnil Chaurasia, and I'll be facilitating today's webinar. I'm a master's student at the Department of Civil Engineering at University of Tokyo. Today's webinar is about study and work in Japan. Study and Work in Japan aims to promote education in Japan by motivating young students to choose Japan as a preferred destination for higher studies. A series of webinars is being organized under this program, in which we'll have presentations from different universities across Japan who will be providing you information and guidance on various English programs being offered. So Japan, even after being the third largest economy and the having the highest employment rate among the G7 nations, is not a very popular country for higher education. This is mainly due to lack of information and various misconceptions like Japanese language requirements, living costs, lifestyles, job prospects, etc. During the webinar, most of these questions will be answered. However, if you have further questions, please write them down in the Q&A portal at the bottom of your screen. Today's webinar is scheduled for 2 hours. We'll first have introduction by Mr. Miyauchi, Director, the University of Tokyo, India office, followed by the presentation on overview of the study and work in Japan by Ms. Rubina. We will then have presentations from the representatives of University of Hugo, Meiji Gakuin University, and Nagoya University of Commerce and Business, and followed by the presentation by Japan Science and Technology Agency, that is JST. So total presentation time for each university is 20 minutes, which will be followed by a 5 minutes of Q&A session. I would also like to request all the presenters to please keep your audio and video off when you're not presenting. So without any further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Miyauchi, Director, the University of Tokyo, India office, to share his thoughts on today's session. Mr. Miyauchi, please.
Thank you. Dear student parents in 7 countries, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. My name is Yasuki Miyauchi, the Director, University of Tokyo, India office. Today, we present you Study and Work in Japan. This program is sponsored by MEX, Ministry of Education, Culture, Sport, Science, Technology in Japan. Our mission is the introduction of Japanese universities and assist you to work and study in Japan. This project started from last October till next month. We are planning to have nearly 30 universities, major 30 universities in Japan, private, public, and national universities, both graduate and undergraduate schools. All universities we introduce in this session, they have English media program. It means you can get degree only on English. So I'd like to recommend you, I'd like to encourage you to try Japan. Today, we introduce 3 major universities in Japan. Each university session is only 20 minutes. Therefore, it may be a little bit not enough. But in that case, please contact university directly. They're waiting for your direct contact. They're ready to help you. Me too. I believe this program will help you. And it is my great pleasure if you consider some Japanese university as your future option. Anyhow, please enjoy today's session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miyauchi, for your valuable insights and your motivational words. I'm sure many students will find your words very highly motivational and will apply for Japanese university for the future. So next, we have Ms. Rubina to give an overview on the Study and Work in Japan project. So Ms. Rubina, please.
Thank you, Mr. Swapnil. Hello, everyone. I'm Rubina. Currently, I'm a PhD student in the Department of Bioengineering at University of Tokyo. I'll share my presentation now. I welcome you all for Study and Work in Japan webinar session 8. Why Japan? Japan has total population of 126 million in 47 prefectures. Japan is known as the third largest economy in the world and is a member of G7 countries. The major industries which drive the economy of Japan are automobile manufacturing, electronics industries, and robotics. If it comes to the safety, Japan is ranked in the top 10 safe countries in the world according to the Global Peace Index. It comes to ninth ranking according to 2019 rank survey. Public transportation is always on time and affordable, and you can go to anywhere in the Japan. The living expenses and food is affordable here in Japan. You can enjoy not only the food from Japan but also various cuisines throughout the world, such as Thai, Spanish, Italian, and alike. You can also enjoy the rich culture here in Japan. Here you can enjoy comfortable living with health insurance policy provided by the government. For the students, it is only 12,000 yen annually for the health insurance, which covers 70% of your health bills. If you come to Japan and apply for Japanese universities, you will come across three different types of Japanese universities, such as national, which are founded by Japanese government, public universities, which are led by local public entities in different prefectures, and private universities, which are founded by the founders. There are various English courses offered by Japanese universities, such as in case of bachelor's courses, which has duration of 4 years, they provide 90 English courses which are provided by 40 Japanese universities. For masters, 160 English courses are offered by 51 universities. And for doctoral courses, which is of duration 3 to 4 years, can be opted in English taught programs. Japanese universities also provide world-class infrastructure and facilities to the students. Library is well equipped with e-journals and various books equipped in the library. And also they provide facilities for the students to carry out research in world-class infrastructure equipped research labs. Students can visit student lounges where they can have discussion with other students, exchange programs throughout the world. Japanese universities also provide university dormitory and sports facility. When it comes to the admission to Japanese universities, for bachelor's courses, you can either enter by applying for common entrance exam or apply in English taught programs which are offered specifically by the universities and the departments. For master's and PhD courses, it is important to establish contact with your supervisor and then follow the rest of the proceedings. There are various interdisciplinary courses which are offered by the university, and maybe you can find interdisciplinary courses not only specific to a department but also in other departments, such as a mechanical engineer can apply for computer science programs in various departments of various Japanese universities. Financial assistance are also provided by the universities and also by the Japanese government, such as MEC scholarship. When you compare the tuition fees between United States and Japan, there's significant differences between the two. The tuition fees in case of public universities in United States is 22 lakhs rupees per annum, but in Japan it is only 4 lakhs rupees per annum. In case of private universities, the tuition fees in United States is 37 lakhs per annum, whereas in Japan, it is only 12 lakhs per annum. The living expenses is almost the same. After graduation, there are various job opportunities in Japan. The average salary after graduation is around 3.9 million yen per year because Japan is known to have lowest unemployment rate, which is around 2.34% according to Statista 2020 survey. There are various leading Japanese companies which has operation in Japan and also in throughout the world, such as Toyota, Suzuki, Uniqlo, Panasonic, etc. I'm sure they are well known to people outside Japan as well. Other global companies which are operating in Japan, where you have where you can have the opportunity to apply for a job, are Amazon, Google, Facebook, etc. One important note we would like to mention here is that visa procurement is an easy process here in Japan. A student can easily upgrade his or her visa from student visa to working visa by staying here in Japan. And that person need not go back to a home country for procurement of their visa. These are some few glimpses of my life here in Japan. You can see that you can have a perfect balance between your personal life and academic life. With that, I will conclude my presentation here. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and enjoy the rest of the webinar. Thank you, everyone. And with that, I'll pass it to Mr. Swapnil.
Thank you very much, Rubina, for your presentation. And it was indeed a very comprehensive presentation that sheds light into so many different aspects of a student's life in Japan. As we all know that studying abroad can be a huge financial investment, and knowing about the career opportunities and future career prospects, especially the visa process, is a very important part. And knowing that Japan provides one of the most safe and good visa process in the world is a very helpful aspect for a student choosing to study in Japan. So with that said, thank you, Rubina, for your presentation. So now we shall be moving to the presentations by the universities. So our first presentation today is by University of Hugo. So University of Hugo is a public university in Japan, established in the year 2004 by integrating three different types of universities. It is a multidisciplinary university that offers courses in almost all the major fields of studies. From the University of Hugo, we are joined by Dr. Khalid Saddam, Associate Professor, Graduate School of Economics and Management. So I would like to invite Dr. Khalid to please take over the proceedings.
Thank you, Swampil. Can you see the slides?
Yes, we see them fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. So my name is Saddam Khalid, and I am Associate Professor at the University of Hyogo, Japan. So I'm the Professor of Entrepreneurship, and I am teaching entrepreneurship theory and practice here. And today I'm going to introduce the Global Business Program, which is a bachelor degree in economics taught at the School of Economics and Management, University of Hyogo. So our university is actually located inside the Hyogo prefecture, and the city is called the Kobe city. And before introducing the course, so let me give you the glimpse of the city and the prefecture. So our university is located inside the Kobe city, and the prefecture is called the Hyogo prefecture, and the whole region is called as the Kansai region. And the Kansai region is very famous for a number of reasons, and one of the most important reason is that most of the top universities of Japan are located inside this region, including University of Hyogo, Kobe University, Kyoto University, Osaka University, Kansai University, Kwansei Gakuin University. So most of the top ranked universities of Japan are located here, and it's also a tourist destination for many international tourists. And our university is actually located inside the Kobe city, and Kobe has a number of wonderful tourist attractions, including Mount Roko, Chinatown, Arima Hot Springs. So it is it is conveniently located for the international accessibility and its airports and bullet train stations to make it easy to explore Japan. So Kobe is basically the capital of Hyogo Prefecture and the 7th largest city in Japan. So it is located in the center of Honshu Island, the largest Japan 4 main islands. And the earliest records of Kobe date back over 1800 years, and it also has one of the Japan oldest Shinto shrines. So city, as we know, is founded in 1889, and it is one of the first Japanese cities to open for trade with West. And additionally, there are over 100 international corporations that have their Asian headquarters in Kobe, such as Eli Lilly, Procter & Gamble, and Nestle. And Kobe has a wonderful tourist attractions also. For example, here you see the Akashi Bridge. So this is the longest suspension bridge in the world that is also located inside the Hyogo Prefecture. And then we have the Meiji Castle, that is a World Cultural Heritage and International Tourist Destination. And also Arima Hot Spring, this is also very famous, located inside the Hyogo Prefecture. And also the local Kobe city attraction, including the tourist destinations, the tunnel, and many international clubs. And these are some of the top corporations, international corporations. Their headquarters is also located inside the Hyogo Prefecture, including the Kawasaki, Mitsubishi, and P&J and Dunlop. And our campus is called the Campus for Commerce, and it is located almost like a 20-minute train by the main Sannomiya station. And here is the overall view of the university. So the University of Hyogo is one of the Japan leading public universities. So it has 6 undergraduate faculties, 14 graduate schools, 4 affiliated research institutes, and affiliated junior and senior high schools. The university has produced many talented graduates in economics, medicine, industry, and healthcare, and they have built successful careers in academia and in the business world. So our course is basically the Global Business course, which is a bachelor degree in economics and offered at the School of Economics and Management, University of Hyogo. So School of Economics and Management has 3 different departments: the Global Business program, the Economics, and the Management. So Economics and Management are taught in English, and the Global Business program, which is a bachelor degree in economics, is taught in English. So we usually select 80 students every year, and 30 of them usually are the international students, and they get 50% scholarship. So this is the intake of 2019 and 2020. You see that we had students from Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Philippines, Romania, Thailand, Turkey, Vietnam, Zambia, Taiwan. This year also many students applied from Russia and Sudan and many other African countries. So normally we have students from East Asia, and then Southeast Asia, and then South Asia, and then Central Asia, and also from the African countries. So Global Business program, all the classes are taught in English in Global Business program. And also we also focus on the Japanese language of the students. So Japanese language is also the part of this course. And students usually learn Japanese language for 4 years. So we make sure that the students become so much like a proficient in the Japanese language so that they could easily get a job in Japan. And we have very international faculty for the Global Business program. We have the faculty from US, from Germany, from Romania, from Thailand, Vietnam, and I'm from Pakistan. And also our classes are also built based on the very much evidence-based knowledge or the science-informed knowledge. For example, for our project seminars and the research seminars, so number of students are usually not more than 10 to 15. And for the subjects, we have like more than like from 30 to 35 students in the classes, so which is a very much evidence-based design for teaching the subjects. And also this course is not theoretical course, so we actually combine it with, we have understanding with the local companies inside the prefecture, and we are sending the students for the internships, and at the same time we are doing some field work. We have project seminars and research seminars where students actually practically go to the companies and they help them. For example, most of our students are providing consultancy to the local Japanese firms, for example, for product development, for brand management, for internationalization, for opportunity development, etc. Recently, my students actually gave consultancy to the city of the Hyogo, how to increase the tourism within the Hyogo prefecture. So the course is the combination of very much theory and the practice, and it's very interesting. This is the structure of the course. So first year we offer Japanese language, Japanese culture and society, life science, regional affairs, safety management, economics and management. In the second year we offer microeconomics, macroeconomics, strategic management, international management, intercultural communications. Third year is related to more field work, including public economics, economic development and entrepreneurship. And we are also helping students we are organizing some business plan competitions, and the students, they want to set up their own companies. So we are actually connecting our students to the venture capitalists so that they could get funding and start their own companies. Fourth year is for the research and thesis, and because this is a degree program, Bachelor in Economics, but the subjects are the combination of business and economics, and then the students can choose whether they want to do research in marketing, management, economics, finance, etc. So after graduation, you see there, this is the course outline, and after graduating, after doing this Bachelor of Economics, the students, if they want to go for the master program, they can simply go to economics, accounting, business, and business administration. This was the schedule for semester. I think you don't need to see. And another interesting thing is about our course is the international dormitory and the design of the international dormitory. The University of Hyogo opened a new international dorm in 2019 on the Kobe campus for commerce. It is called Global House. The dormitory accommodates almost 150 international and Japanese students in a community setting that facilitates the multicultural cooperation and learning. So the ground floor is the Center for Global Exchange Program, and the staff are available to answer your questions. And international students are required to stay in the dorm for first year, after which support is provided for moving off. So this is the overall view of the international dormitory. And here is, you can see the structure of the dormitory. We actually have different units, and each unit has three different rooms. The rooms are very much private, but the kitchen and the dining area and the study area is shared with the students. So usually we have like 2 international and 1 Japanese student inside one unit. So the idea and the objective was that we should promote more diversity and the communication and the learning. So this is the campus, a neighborhood, a small shopping mall for shopping, post office, banks, medical clinics, and also a lot of convenience stores and small companies which actually provide access to the international students for doing some part-time jobs. There are a lot of club activities you can do, like judo, kendo, karate, etc. So usually the clubs are very punctual and very disciplined if you want to join the club. So you need to be very much regular. But if you think that you cannot be regular because of the studies, so you can also join the circles. They are more informal. Degree awarded will be a Bachelor of Economics, and how to apply is usually we select 30 students overseas all across the world. And eligibility criteria is that individual who have completed a 12-year curriculum of school education in a foreign country or have an equivalent education as specified by the Ministry of Education in Japan. Second thing is the English proficiency. It's very important because the course is in English. So we ask students to submit the IELTS or the TOEFL. Students are selected based on their application materials and interview. And the interview will be conducted in English, either locally or online through Zoom. So required materials are application forms, application essays, and the certificate of the academic transcript and certificate of the English proficiency. If you are the native speaker of English, you don't need to submit. Or if you think that the medium of instruction in your country is in English, that is also fine. You can just submit the recommendation letter from the English teacher, and then the letter of recommendation written by an academic advisor and the other necessary documents. Usually we collect applications in December. This is just for reference. You see that we collect applications in December and we do interviews in February, and we notify the result in March. So next time in 2021 December, you can submit your application for the global business program. So fee structure is, as I mentioned before, that this program actually gives 50% scholarship to the students. So the tuition fee of the students will be exempted 50%. For example, you see here, if for the regular fee, this is for the admission. For the application fee, if you see that the regular fee is 17,000 yen, but after exemption, you will get, you have to pay 8,500 yen. This is a 50% exemption. And for the admission fee, you see that it's 282,000 yen. And after exemption, you have to pay 141,000 yen. And this is the overall structure of the fee. You see that in the first year, all the students who will be selected for this scholarship have to pay 50% only. The 50% is exempted. But after the first semester, if we see that if you are among the top 30% students, in terms of your GPA, then your 100% tuition fee will be exempted for the full 4 years. But the other students will still be getting the 50% scholarship. And for the other 50% scholarship, we also have some understanding with the local companies. We also help students to get the rest of the 50% scholarships from the local companies located inside the Hugo prefecture. That is not kind of a promise, but we try our best. And also most of the students are doing part-time jobs on weekends, and most of them, they are covering their expenses by doing their part-time job, the rest of the 50% expenses. And this year, this program is also selected for the MEX scholarship. So MEX is usually offered through embassies, and another way is through university recommendations. So our global business program this year is also selected for the MEX scholarships. So we will select 50 students, 30 students who will get like 50% scholarships. And among those 30 students, we will select 8 students for fully funded MEX scholarships. I mean, it means that the top 8 students among the 30 students who are selected, so they will get fully funded scholarship with a stipend of 120,000 per month. Their tuition fee is exempted, and they will also get the return ticket. So I encourage all the students. Usually it's very normal for the masters and the PhD degree, programs to get the scholarship, because it's very easy. Sometimes the professors, they have the funding, but the undergraduate program, it's very rare to get a scholarship or kind of an exemption. So I suggest and encourage all the South Asian students to apply for this program, and most probably you will get the MEX scholarship. If not, then maybe you will get the 50% tuition fee exemption. That's all from my side. So if you have any questions, so you are most welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saddam, for your comprehensive presentation covering so many different aspects about the admission process as well as the education in the University of Hyogo. So there are some questions that we are getting in the Q&A portal. So would you like to select the questions and answer them verbally? You can see them in the Q&A portal at the bottom of your screen.
Okay.
So there's one question that is apart from tuition fee, is there any other additional fee, for example, building fee, lab fee, etc., that students have to pay?
I think there is no extra fee, but students, they need to pay the dorm expenses, for example, the living expenses. So I think for the first year, our students will live in the dormitory and they have to pay 30,000 yen. So that is very cheap.
Okay. So there is one more question that are there an engineering, so does University of Hyogo provide engineering courses as well?
Yes, they have the engineering courses, so you can check the website.
Okay. So if I'm not wrong, I think you presented one of the many admission programs that are being offered by University of Hyogo.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Actually, I am the faculty member at the School of Economics, University of Hyogo. So actually, I am here to present my department. So of course, there are many, as I mentioned before, that I have shown you that there are many departments in schools. So if you really want to apply, so you can simply go to the website, or you can, if you are a master or PhD student, you can simply contact the professor. And if you can see whether the course is offered is English or not. And if you are interested in our program, so of course you are welcome. So we are also starting the master program. This is a bachelor program, and we are also starting the master program for this course, the GBC Global Business Program. So currently we are not offering the scholarship, but we are now in the process of deciding that how we are going to pursue this program.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saddam. There's one more question. Graduation admission process is completely different than India. So can you just share what about the graduation admission process of University of Yoga?
Yeah, so so they're asking for the master and the PhD, right?
Yeah.
So for the master, I think the program will be very similar, but usually there are two ways. When I came to Japan, so I was on the Max scholarship. So, but usually you can also apply to the embassy. So if you want to apply to the Max scholarship, another way is that you contact the professors directly. You can send the email to the professor. For example, if you want to do in engineering, in mechanical, or maybe the electrical, or maybe in biology or whatever. So you can simply email the professor. If the professor has the funding, so he's going to contact you. Else, you can also talk to the international admission office, so they will guide you further.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saddam, for your help and coordination in the Q&A session. I think we should move ahead with our next presentation. So thank you, Dr. Prajakta. So I will just introduce. Our next presentation is by Meiji Gakuin University. It is one of the most prestigious private universities of Japan, with a rich history dating back to 1863, when it was first established. It is also a multidisciplinary university with a wide range of undergraduate schools, graduate schools, and research institutes. From Meiji Gakuin University, we have Dr. Prajakta, Associate Professor, Faculty of International Studies, who will be presenting today. So I would like to request Dr. Prajakta to please take over the proceedings.
Thank you, Swapnil. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Prajakta Khare. I am from India. I did my education from the University of Mumbai, and now I'm affiliated with Meiji Gakuin University's Faculty of International Studies, where I teach courses in economics and business. And with me is my colleague, Professor Alexander VC, and he would be happy to answer questions that you have simultaneously as the presentation is going on. So Meiji Gakuin University was it was founded in 1861. And here's a picture from those times. We have two campuses. One is in Tokyo and one is in Yokohama. And we have almost 12,000 students, including the undergraduate and the graduate schools. Meiji Gakuin University, it does not have any science faculty. So it's a completely social sciences or humanities school. And the 6 faculties that we currently have for the undergraduate level are the Faculty of Law, Literature, Economics, Psychology, Sociology. But these faculties mostly have all of their courses in Japanese. So I'm here to talk about the Faculty of International Studies, which has been highlighted here. The Faculty of International Studies is it was started in 1986, and it was one of the very first international studies faculties to be started by a Japanese university. So this was a picture of our Tokyo campus, but the Faculty of International Studies, or as we call it as FIS, is housed in the Yokohama campus. And here's a picture of Mount Fuji, as you can see from our Yokohama campus. So if you are enrolled at FIS, you would spend all 4 years at our Yokohama campus. Here's a picture of the Yokohama campus, which is actually a good mix of urban and semi-rural kind of a town. It's in Yokohama. This is located in a place called Totsuka, which is a semi-rural town, and it's about the university is about a 10 minutes bus ride from Totsuka station. So the distance from Yokohama to Totsuka is about a 10 minutes train ride. And conversely, from Tokyo to Totsuka, it takes about 35 minutes by train. The campus is, it's a beautiful green campus with excellent sports facilities. Now coming to the Faculty of International Studies. So the FIS, it's got 2 departments. One is the Department of International Studies, and the other, about which I'm going to be talking in detail today, is the Department of Global and Transcultural Studies, or as we call it as GTS. So GTS, the Department of Global and Transcultural Studies, was started in 2011. So we would be celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. We also, well, in Japanese, it's known as the Kokusai Career Gakka, or we refer to it as KC. So it's called GTS, or it's called as KC. The annual intake is 55 students each year from within Japan and from outside of Japan. The main difference between these two departments at the Faculty of International Studies is that GTS teaches all courses in English, and the Department of International Studies teaches all courses in Japanese. And of course, they have a much bigger intake of students. So what can you study at the Department of Global and Transcultural Studies? So GTS has, it's got 4 areas: sociology, culture, political science, and economics. These are some of the sample courses from each of these areas. Of course, these are not all of the courses. So for example, if you are interested in studying economics, you would ideally start with an introductory level course in economics, or as we call it, a lower division course in economics, such as Introduction to Microeconomics, Introduction to Macroeconomics. And then in your maybe second half of your second year or third year, you move on to more advanced courses. At the same time, you don't have to restrict yourself to any one area, but while you study economics and political science, you are free to also take courses from culture or from sociology. So you can focus on one area, but also keep taking courses from the other areas. So these are some of the courses that we teach at GTS, and all of these are taught completely in English. So apart from these field-specific courses, we also have intensive language education. But if you are in Japan, it is very important that you speak and learn Japanese. So we have Japanese language courses from the beginner to the advanced level, especially for students who are non-native Japanese speakers, for foreign students. So you can take these courses right from your very first year at GTS, and you do get credits for these courses. Also, for if you are interested in other languages, we do have language courses in Spanish, German, etc. But these other foreign languages are taught through Japanese, so they are not taught through English. Also, if some of you may be already studying Japanese and you may be appearing for those Japanese language proficiency tests. So if you are proficient enough in Japanese, if you are good enough in Japanese, you are free to take other courses which are taught in Japanese from our sister department, which is the Department of International Studies. So while you do majority of your courses in English medium, if your Japanese is good enough, you can also take lectures in Japanese. So this is what your course plan, or this is what your flow of your 4 years at GTS would look like. Once you enter the department in your first year, of course, you are required to take a few courses, such as introductory seminar or introduction to Christianity. So we do have a few compulsory courses. But then in the first year and second year, students mostly take academic English courses. They do take Japanese language courses, and they take introductory level courses in a field of their choice. So like I said before, it could be introduction to sociology or introduction to political science, etc. So this is what you do in your first 2 years, mostly the compulsory courses, the language courses, and introductory courses in content courses. In their second year, students are usually encouraged to start their practicums or their study abroad programs. So if you are interested in studying abroad, that's what you would do in the second half of your second year or early third year, while you move into more advanced courses in an area of your choice. Also, at any Japanese university, students usually in their 4th year are required to do a senior project, which is usually in the form of an undergraduate thesis. So something like a 6,000 word dissertation. And that's what you start doing in the second half of your third year. So you have to pick a theme, pick a topic of your choice, and you have to start your independent research and work with your supervisor to completing your senior project in your 4th year. So students usually finish most of their coursework, including their studying abroad, including their internships, etc., in their first 3 years at college. And the 4th year of college is, there isn't a lot of pressure, and you can focus on completing your graduation thesis. Coming to the admission requirements, for students who are applying from outside of Japan, if you check out our website, you have to look at the AOA application guidelines. And the Faculty of International Studies accepts students for April admission as well as September admission. So depending on when you graduate from your high school, you can start college either in September or you can start college in April. And we offer admissions at both these times. We require students to show us your English proficiency scores. So any of these tests mentioned here, the TOEFL or the TOEIC would do. And these are some of the minimum scores that we require. Here's a look at the admission, the application timeline. So these dates, these are just to give you an idea. These dates are from last year, so 2020 and 2021 admissions. The dates for the next couple of years would be almost the same. They may change maybe by a day or two. So if you intend to start your college in April, then the application period ends in the previous year's September-October period. So like it says here, the application deadline is the end of September to the beginning of October. The admission process includes a two-stage screening. So the first stage is that you submit your documents to us. We would screen those documents and then inform you if you have passed the first stage screening. If you pass the first stage screening, we would interview you online, either over Skype or maybe Zoom these days. And then if you pass the interview would be in English. If you pass the interview, we'll let you know about your results in early December. And that's after which you start your enrollment procedures and you begin college in April. And then there's a parallel timeline for September admissions. So a two-stage screening process. We require you to submit your high school transcripts, letters of recommendation from your school teachers, any other results of any other academic qualifications that you may have. Also your English language test scores, and then a personal statement or an essay which explains why you would be interested in our department, or which talks about your career plans or what you would like to study at our school, etc. So this is the application package required in order to submit when you submit your documents for the first screening. Where do our students come from? So GTS is a small department. Like I said, we have an intake of 55 students annually. So currently, as of today, there are 246 students studying at the department over their 4-year course. And our students are mainly coming from China, Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, the US, Australia, Brazil. You can see the countries mentioned here. Also, we have a lot of Japanese students who have lived abroad and then they come back to Japan. So they enroll for the courses offered in English, and we call them the Kikokushijo. The tuition fees are 1.3 million yen a year, so that's $12,000 annually. Let me just go to the scholarships first. So we offer 2 types of scholarships. One is the university scholarship. So that's offered by Meiji Gakuin University to all foreign students, and they would be getting a 30% scholarship. In addition to the university scholarship, the Department of Global and Transcultural Studies has its own departmental scholarship, which is offered to up to 9 students based on your academic performance. So if you have been performing well, then you either get a 35% tuition waiver or a 70% tuition waiver. So if you are among, let's say, the top 3 students, you would get a 70% waiver. So when you include these scholarships in your tuition fees of $12,000 annually, if you're applicable for a Meiji Gakuin University scholarship, your fees come down to $8,300. Plus, if you get a departmental scholarship of 35%, your fees fall down to $4,200. Or if you are really good and you are eligible for a 70% waiver, then for those students, tuition is almost free. But you, of course, have to spend on your living expenses. So where do students usually live? They live at the Meiji Gakuin International Student House. One thing is that we cannot promise you a scholarship when you decide to enroll at GTS. You have to come, you have to start your first semester here, and then you have to apply for the scholarship. If your application is successful, then your fees would be repaid. They would be paid back to you. And usually students have to keep a GPA of 2.5 in order to be eligible to apply for these scholarships. So you have to keep applying for these scholarships every semester. Coming to the dormitory and the International Students House. So it's called as the MISH, which is a half-an-hour walk from the campus. Every student has his or her private study room, and there's a canteen which serves you hot meals. So this is a picture of the dormitory where you have your private room, as well as there is a common room where you can hang out with the other students and maybe do your homework together, etc. So what I would like to emphasize about GTS is that the class size is really small, with about 10 to 25 students in class. So we have small seminar kind of classes where you can actually have a lot of interaction and a lot of one-to-one discussion with your teacher. Let me move on to off-campus studies. So what do you do apart from your classroom studies? Students usually go on their study abroad programs. And when it comes to study abroad, we have mainly three options. The first one is the double degree program. For this double degree program, we have a partnership with San Francisco State University, that's SFSU, in which students spend half of their time at Meiji Gakuin University, half of their time at San Francisco State University. And at the end of the 5-year period, it gets slightly longer. At the end of the 5-year coursework, they are able to graduate with 2 degrees. So usually students start off with their studies at Meiji Gakuin. They spend about 1.5 years at Meiji Gakuin. Then they go to SFSU to complete 3 semesters there, or maybe 4 semesters there. And they come back to Meiji Gakuin and they finish their graduation project, and then they graduate with 2 degrees. Of course, since you would be actually going to the US and you would be studying at an American university, the double degree program comes at an additional cost of $35,000, including your travel expenses. So these are some of our double degree graduates, so students who graduated with 2 degrees, one from Meiji Gakuin and one from SFSU. This is what the double degree program's coursework would look like. So first 3 semesters at Meiji Gakuin, the next 4 semesters at SFSU, and then you come back to MGU. Another option for study abroad is that we have partnerships with a lot of other universities, as you can see the list here. And most of our students usually spend 1 semester, or they could spend 2 semesters, which is 1 year, at any of these universities. Of course, this list it doesn't include all of our partners. There are many, many more, and you will find them on our homepage. A third option is study abroad with internship. So while you are studying abroad, you get a chance to do an internship at Walt Disney World in Florida. So that's 3 months of coursework at University of California, Riverside, followed by a 6 months paid internship at Walt Disney in Florida. That's option 3. I would also like to mention here that we have a partnership with University of California, Berkeley, through which about 10 to 15 students come to Meiji Gakuin, to our department, from UC Berkeley for 1 semester or for 2 semesters. And you would often be taking classes, especially your advanced level classes or your 3rd year and 4th year classes, with the University of California, Berkeley students. So you would get a chance to study together with them while you are in Japan at Meiji Gakuin. Yes. Finally, where do our graduates work? So over the last 4 years, these are some of the companies, these are some of the places where our graduates have secured jobs. They've been working in banking, in finance, in trading houses, travel, and many of them have progressed on to take graduate school studies in Japan or outside of Japan. So I would like to remind you here that the degree that we offer is a Bachelor of Arts. So after you finish your 4-year coursework at GTS, irrespective of whether you have focused on economics or political science or culture or sociology, the degree that you get is a BA, a Bachelor of Arts. I think that's it from my end. And if you have any, if you need more information, please visit our homepage, or you can send inquiries to our office here. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prajakta, for your presentation, and such a comprehensive presentation covering all the aspects that students go through during their education in Japan. So I think all the questions are being live answered by Professor Alexander. So if you want to select any answered questions that are a general feature in the Q&A session, so you can answer them as well.
Okay. Here at the Q&A section as well. Is there any particular one that you would like me to address?
Okay, so a common question that students have among over these is that the admission process, like for example, Dr. Prajakta covered one of the admission programs in the that is GTA. Are there any other admission programs in English that are available in Meiji Gakuin University?
The one that Professor colleague explained, the AOA, that's the one that we have designed specifically for students coming from someplace like India or Bangladesh, etc. It's based upon the application process you would find for an American university. Therefore, we read an essay. It's not a written test per se. We read an essay. We speak to the students. We look at their whole academic background, what they've done, etc. And so it's a holistic kind of appreciation of what the student has done. It's not a one mark-off test where if you do badly, you don't have to get it. It's not like that at all. Any other kinds of questions? I'm wondering if the program, it's a little bit different from an economics only kind of program in that we take the stance to have a variety of different kinds of knowledge if they really want to work in a multicultural environment. And so therefore we want them to take a variety of different kinds of courses in order to prepare for working in Japan, or if they wish to go back to their home country, etc., and then work with Japanese who work in their home country as well.
Thank you very much, Professor Alexander. I would also, yeah, please. Okay. Do you want to answer any specific question that you want to tackle yourself, or can I ask one question?
There is some.
Yeah, please.
I see some questions here about Japanese, and we do have both an introductory level and advanced level. And the advanced levels are going to be designed to help students who wish to take an N2 test. If you don't take an N2 test, you cannot work at a Japanese company. And since we do have courses offered in Japanese as well, students who come in with a Japanese background can take classes in Japanese, and we encourage them to do that. The idea being that if you have practical experience using the language outside of a language class, then you're able to bring that kind of knowledge into a job interview, etc. if you wish to work in Japan, or if you wish to work with a Japanese company outside of Japan, you're still going to have to communicate with your colleagues, etc. So we do have language programs that help students to achieve that kind of skill in addition to their technical knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Alexander. And I would also like to extend one more thought that I have after attending so many different sessions, that we are very lucky that in today's session, we have 2 undergraduate admission programs because undergraduate admission programs in English are not very common in Japan. And in today's session, we got 2 of them. So that is very nice for students to know about the undergraduate admission program. So I think that is all from Meiji Gakuin University. So we should.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So we should move ahead to our next university, that is Nagoya University of Commerce and Business, or commonly known as MUCB. So NUCB is a prestigious private university in Japan, known for its internationalization goals. It's also one of the pioneers to identify the needs of English undergraduate education in Japan, and has introduced many English courses, and is also the only university in Japan to offer English global BBA courses. So from MUCB, we are joined by Mr. Freddie Mason, Assistant Director of Admissions. So I would like to request Mr. Freddie Mason to please take over the proceedings.
Okay, thank you very much. Very happy to be able to present today. I'll spend most of the day talking about the BBA, but feel free to ask me any questions about living in Japan as a foreigner. I always enjoy answering those questions. So let me tell you a little bit about NUCB. We are run under an educational institute. So here you can see we have a high school teaching the IB curriculum, soon to come a boarding school. We have 3,000 students at the undergraduate level, and we are the #1 business school in Japan, with all of our programs #1 in QS, so Masters of Management, as well as an MBA, also taught in English. We were the first undergraduate school in Japan to become AACSB accredited, and we've held that since 2006. And I won't spend too long here, but basically they are the ones that set our standards of education. So this is worldwide standards of education, very strict, and we have to be reaccredited. Okay, so things such as our professors, such as their output of research, how much percentage hold a PhD, extremely tough to get. Only 5% of the world's business schools hold this accreditation. Okay, and you can see some very famous schools on the side there that also have it. This is our main campus, very beautiful, right? Very green. And we call this an all-in-one campus, just to make student life that much more convenient. We use the stat that it's 1.5 times Tokyo Disneyland, so very big in size. We have plenty of clubs available, not just sports, okay, lots of culture clubs, and we do a lot on campus to integrate our Japanese students and our international students. On that one site, our Nishin campus, you can see we have a library, a 7-Eleven convenience store, the cafe, the cafeteria you can see in the background here, and 2 restaurants for our students. In terms of location, I'm sure many of you may have heard of Tokyo. You may not have heard so much of where we are. We're in the center of the country, okay, and there's a lot of benefits for living here. I can't offer you Shinjuku lifestyle. Yeah, that's very different. So I think what we offer here is a mixture of everything. Okay, it's the 4th largest city, 3rd most populous, home to Toyota, so very famous for business, beautiful nature on your doorstep, as well as easy access to big cities like Kyoto, like Osaka, and obviously much cheaper to live than compared to Tokyo. So I mentioned that we have 3,000 students. 10% of our students are international, and they fall under the management faculty under the BBA. Okay, so we call this a GBBA, a Global Bachelor of Business Administration, and it's 100% in English. So that means there's no Japanese required for entrance or for graduation. Degrees in this country are 4 years long, and this is a kind of layout that you can explore. Okay, it's not fixed. Everyone is different. Some people prefer to stay, 4 years in Japan. Some people prefer an exchange, maybe a double degree, domestic internship, overseas internship. So very flexible. Okay, a BBA, you would study everything that you see here. So it's quite a general business degree. Maybe you're unsure where your passion lies. Maybe you've got a family business to run in the future. Maybe you've got a sort of entrepreneurial spirit. So, studying courses under management, under marketing, under accounting and finance, as well as economics. And there's about a 20% component of liberal arts. Most students come with 0 Japanese. We do teach it, and you're welcome to take that as advanced as you like. Okay. Our curriculum and the way we teach is really unique. You'll find that one class per day only lasts, if it's a morning period, up until 1 p.m. That gives you plenty of time to really focus on your studies as you get used to life in Japan, look into part-time work, maybe internships. And we have 2 big breaks throughout the year as well. So one class will only last for 7 weeks. So that will give you the option to study quite a lot of different kinds of topics. So as an example of your calendar, if you had business negotiation on a Wednesday, you have that every Wednesday for 7 weeks, and then you're finished with that. The way we teach is focused on something called participant-centered learning, or PCL for short. Our average class size is 35, and you can see the design of the layout here of the classroom. It's typically something you see at Harvard, okay, that we are wanting to engage in discussions. It is not faculty-led lecture style. So you're going to be learning from cases, and that is, real scenarios that have happened in obviously very, very famous companies. And you can learn, from, success as well as failure. But that also leads into the way we assess our students. So most of our classes have a very, very high weighting towards participation. And even classes such as finance, economics, it means you must read your case, come prepared to talk about it in the classroom. This style of teaching comes from Harvard. We send our faculty there every year for training. And basically, in short, Harvard is saying that the more you are involved in your studies, the more that you actually cognitively remember. So everyone has their different way of, learning. This doesn't suit everyone. So just be, when you're thinking about university, do you want a big city, small city, what kind of campus life you like, what kind of teaching delivery method. We are purely case methods. So just keep that in mind. We are very diverse. Last year, 39 different nationalities. And we are seeing a huge, huge increase from students coming from India. Okay. This is our faculty that teach on the English track. You can see where they've taken their final education. The majority of our professors are coming from outside of Japan. Okay. Our Japanese professors, usually have an MBA or PhD from Harvard. So again, our faculty are quite diverse. We have lots of activities off campus, so you can explore this beautiful, beautiful country. There's options for exchange, okay, make friends, teach a language, really, really nice thing to do. And we have fantastic support, and I think all universities do, but I just like to say that, I know as a foreigner coming to this country, it can be quite scary, but to say that we have, English speaking staff throughout the campus can put you a little bit at ease. I think Meiji Gakuin was mentioned also, the opportunity for exchange. It is a great opportunity, and I think a lot of students want to do that. We consider this a scholarship. So we will pay for your return flights, and whatever tuition you're paying to us is what you pay. Okay. So you could go to Canada, for example, you can go to Thailand, you can go to Malaysia, you can go into Europe. Yeah, some very, very good schools here, for example, Lancaster, you can go to the Netherlands, maybe Italy. You could also do a double degree. So that means you'll graduate in another country. Okay, France being our most popular for partnership. Again, like most universities, the employment success rate is extremely high. Yeah, the opportunities in this country are better than ever. Okay, and you're seeing that with the amount of international students coming to this country. In terms of dorm ready to go when you move in. So if we talk about budgeting for 1 year, okay, for rent, for living, a good sort of rough estimate would be about 8,500 US dollars, about 675,000. Scholarship. We have plenty of scholarships. They are merit-based. There is no special application. The minimum we will give you is a computer, a brand new MacBook Air to start your university life. We will review your documents and your interview, etc., and you may be eligible for an admission scholarship. And if you're taking the IB diploma, okay, and you get a minimum of 32 points, the minimum we will guarantee you is a 300,000 Japanese yen discount, which is the equivalent of about 30%. There's also housing scholarships available, and we will also nominate you for the JASO Honors Scholarship for students coming from outside of Japan and non-Japanese. And like I mentioned, the study abroad opportunities, if you'd like to take advantage of that. Selection, like the other universities were saying today, we are holistic. So I think we want what we say is best fit. Okay, for us, you know, case method, the location, what do you want to take out of your 4 years? What can we offer you? So that means that there's no minimum requirements, for example, an IB or a CBSE. Doesn't matter what stream you take. We don't require the SAT, for example. There's no minimum requirement for A levels. We're very flexible on the English ability. We can waive that as well. And if anyone would like, I'm always happy to follow up on an individual basis to go over that. If you do go ahead and apply, we do ask for 3 essay questions, 1 page per question, and a recommendation letter. And then we will arrange your online interview. Deadlines are rolling, so that means almost once per month there's an application period just to get your documents to us. Obviously during COVID times, if something's a little bit difficult, just get in touch with us, and we are very, very flexible at this moment in time. If you are free on Monday, next week, Monday, January 25th, we are offering a free virtual demonstration lesson. Okay, this falls under the liberal arts component of law and the environment, to get a good understanding of whether, you know, this case method suits your personality. Come and learn from a very good professor talking about electric vehicles in Japan. So yeah, if you get the chance, come and join us. You can sign up on the QR code there or on our homepage. And like I mentioned, we are seeing a huge growth of students coming from India. And we also have something called Student Voice on our homepage. Do check that out. And I've highlighted 2 of our most recent students here. Vital, who, you know, family has been living in Japan, came from an international school in Tokyo. He's fluent in Japanese. He's volunteering in the tea ceremony club to help foreigners integrate with our Japanese community. He's an entrepreneur. He's got his own business in Tokyo at the moment, which is really, really fascinating to hear. Last year, September, Tanya joined us from Chennai. She also got the JASO Housing Scholarship and the MacBook Air. Okay, so free scholarships as well. So good to hear about them. If you'd like to speak to them as well, happy to arrange that. So just drop us an email. So our email address is there, okay, intl_adm@nucba.ac.jp. And if you get the chance, do check out the YouTube channel. Okay, I always have trouble playing videos on Zoom, so I believe it's best just to let you guys do that in your free time. There's a beautiful drone video. You get to see the class atmosphere, etc. Just type in NUCB or Global BBA, and that will come up. So, guys, thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mason, for your presentation and giving us a comprehensive method of admission and the process. So currently there are no open questions. Most of the questions are already being answered live by all the panelists. So would you like to pick up any of the common questions and would like to answer?
Yeah, well, I guess that, you know, part-time work has not really been spoken about in much detail. So let me talk a bit about that. So students can work 28 hours per week in term, and they can work up to 40 hours in the long-term breaks. And I think the majority of our students are doing some form of part-time work. Some of our students speak, you know, absolutely zero Japanese, and they may be doing, you know, language teaching. They may work in a restaurant that's, you know, similar to their home country. We have students that have, you know, decent Japanese. Usually they work in a convenience store. Most recently, you're seeing Uber Eats, Amazon, for example. So those kind of students have those opportunities. And, you know, the minimum wage in comparison is about $8 to $9 US. So quite nice. Yeah, it's not probably possible to pay for your entire tuition and living costs, but it is possible to significantly contribute to your living, I believe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mason. And that actually brings even, if I have the luxury of sharing, even I have the freedom of having some part-time job experience. And I would like to share that the part-time jobs in Japan are highly rewarding. The average amount that you can get from the part-time jobs are really good. It's close to, it's anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 yen per hour. So you can very easily live, especially when you're doing your bachelor's. Most of the bachelor students do part-time job in Japan, and you can easily get your living expenses by doing part-time jobs, and it's very common in Japan. So thank you for bringing this point. And I think that is all from NUCB, if we do not have any open questions. So I would also like to request the panelists, if you want to share any links or any data, you can share them in the chat box, as they will be available to all the attendees. So if you want to, any of the panelists want to share any links or any access to any of the documents, please share them in the chat. So I think that is all from the university side. Next, we have the presentation by Japan Science and Technology Agency, that is JST. From JST, we have Mr. Yuji Nishikawa, Advisor International Relations and Corporations, and also former representative of JST India office. I would like to request Mr. Nishikawa to please take over the proceedings.
Okay, thank you very much for having me here today. I'd like to make a brief explanation on our invitation program to Japan from your countries called Sacral Science Plan. So I'll show you the slide, okay? Okay, actually, I worked in India, New Delhi for 3 years. And previously I worked in Sri Lanka, Colombo, Sri Lanka for 4 years. And I visited Maldives 8 times. I also do some business with Bangladesh, Pakistan, and also Nepal. So I've visited almost all the countries near your countries. So now, this is the program, JST. We have a program called Sacral Science Plan. But the JST is the government agency under the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology to promote science education and science and technology and innovation. We come straight under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sport, and Science and Technology. And we are one of the largest research funding agency. And our total annual budget is going to be about 1.2 billion, which is US dollar, in terms of US dollars, which is really a large size research funding agency. We have an office in New Delhi. Office looks after India, not only India, but also all the South Asian countries from here. And then we happen to share the office together with the University of Tokyo, because the University of Tokyo is also doing this study in Japan program under Ministry of Education. So we share the office from the beginning for the last 3-4 years. And then JST is now doing actually more than 4 projects. During my time in 2016, I was in India to 2015 to 2018. And during those times, there are 4 projects, joint research projects started. And these are 3 projects related to ICT, information technology, information communication technologies, together with, for example, IIT Bombay, IIT Hyderabad, and IIT Delhi. And also in Japan side, University of Tokyo, and also Kyushu University. And we had another program. This is a mitigation of traffic jam. This project is being carried out by Nagoya Electric University, IIT Hyderabad. And also we have 2 more projects very recently started, 2 more projects. So we're running fairly big size project, joint research project. So maybe if you are going to be a scientist or engineer, maybe you may be able to work with us in future. And on top of that, in 2015, we just started a program called Sacral Science Program in India and some surrounding countries. And this is a short-term invitation, introductory invitation program. So short-term means maximum 3 weeks, 1 to 3 weeks program. So this is introductory program to invite people from 41 countries, and then to exchange between Japanese, let them see, experience Japanese top science and technology, and also human resource development is also our objectives of this program. So these are the 45 countries, and so all these South Asian countries are included in this program, so they can apply. And then about 80% of this program open application programs account for about 80% of this total program in terms of invitation, number of invitees. So in this program, Japanese high schools, universities, research institutes, private companies, NGOs, NPOs, and other registered organizations, or even government or non-government, or these organization will become the receiving or host organization in Japan. They invite from countries in your countries, organizations in your country. They become the sending organization. So in tie-up with sending organization in your country and receiving organization in Japan, they tie up and make application to JST. And then this is age limitation, above 15 and below 40 years at the time of coming to Japan. So all these, basically in the past, it is all science and technology stream people in the past. And they're has to be able to speak English. And then those who have not stayed in Japan before, of course, just visiting as tourist is not exempted. And selected by both sending and receiving organizations. These are the eligibility of the BTs. And then by opening up open application type programs, firstly receiving organization submit a proposal or program to us, to JST. And the JST form evaluation committee and make a evaluation. And then award. And then awarded the organization, receiving organization in Japan will start implementing this program. That means invitation from, and then this program has to be finished by the same fiscal year. That is by the end of March the next year usually. So actually this program covers nearly 100% of the total expenses. Those people who to be invited do not have to pay anything. So this is just example. You know, this girl, she visited Japan by one of the Japanese universities, and then she was admitted to University of Tokyo undergraduate courses last year. So she's now doing taking the classes online, but I heard that she's coming to Japan next March. Very soon she's coming to Japan, Tokyo, Japan. And then this is the, so once you are invited by this program, you become the alumni member of this program. We had, for example, in India, we had the first alumni meeting in 2018, October. And our ambassador was also there. And this is ambassador's residence, official residence. We held this alumni meeting, first alumni meeting. And so, and the chief guest from India is, I think everybody knows, he is a Professor Vijay Raghavan. He's a scientific, principal scientific officer to the government of India. He was our main guest of this alumni meeting. And that time we selected 4 coordinators of the Alumni Association. And then Dr. Jitendra Chu, he's assistant professor of ICE Pune. He's still at this moment, he's the main coordinator, or I should say president of the alumni. he's still there and doing this activity of the alumni for India. And also in Sri Lanka, also there's a alumni set up already in Sri Lanka. And this is second alumni meeting was held in IIT Delhi campus here. And at that time also new ambassador, Mr. Suzuki was also present there. And there was some poster session and there are some awardees were there. And I'm here. So this time also about 100 people are gathered here. This is in 2020, last year, February last year, just COVID-19 started. So we are very lucky enough to have hold this alumni meeting in New Delhi. So this is a total number of invitees so far. This program started in 2014 with 13 countries, mostly China and also ASEAN countries. And then now, this year, 2020, there's nobody invited due to, because of this COVID-19. But so far, in total number of invited people from 41 countries is over 33,000. And then, for example, of course, China accounts for about 30%. And then Thailand, India, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, Myanmar, and so on. So we are inviting so many people every year. I think on the average about 6,000 people so far. In 1 year, we have been inviting. Oh, yeah. And then this just is for your information. These are the universities ranking of in terms of number of invitees by this program. Number one university in Japan is Miyazaki University. They have already invited more than 700. And then Okayama University, Osaka University, Tokyo Metropolitan, you know, these are the top 20. But I should say almost all the major universities in Japan have already applied for this program as invited some people. But it is so far it is limited to only science and technology and engineering. So there are universities who haven't got to some courses like related to science and technology. Maybe they haven't applied to this program. But it is not decided yet, but it's very important. I think for the starting next year, we are thinking of removing this restriction. So maybe we will announce it if it is decided, but we are trying to invite not only the science technology students or researchers, but also any students, you know. So it may be possible. So we will announce it soon. So please watch. And our program is very much appreciated by both, for example, in India, for both government, Japanese Prime Minister and the Indian Prime Minister come to each country, vice versa, every year. And then in all the time, the joint communique is announced. And then in those joint communique, our Sacral Science Plan is also included, mentioned. Because both government appreciate this program very much. And in case of India, we had the annual this government-to-government based program committee on science and technology. It was held last year, November last year. And then in this meeting, the Indian government decided to invite some students to India from Japan in return to the Sacral program. So I should say most important thing for the sending organization, that is a university or high schools or a research institute in your country becomes a sending organization, you must find some receiving organization in Japan, because only the receiving organization in Japan can make application to us. So first, most important thing, if you want to come to Japan by this program, please find receiving host organizations in Japan and request them to invite apply for this program. And we are always welcome talented people from your countries And then by coming to this Japan for even 1 week, and then you'll find Japan very attractive, then please come and study, or to come to work, or come to do the research work together with Japan. So if you have any questions, please just Google Sacral Science Plan. Then you find also information in Japanese and English and in Chinese and so on. So we are always waiting for you to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nishikawa, for your presentation and sharing so many details about Sakura Science Program. And I would also like to share that I have had experience of interacting with students who came under Sakura Science Program, and many of them eventually ended up applying in Japanese universities. So SSP has a very deep impact in the education of foreign students in Japan, and I guess students knowing about it is a very good thing for them. So that brings us to the end of today's session. Before giving the closing remarks, I would like to share that the recordings of the webinars are available in the University of Tokyo India office website. So if you have missed any webinars, or if you want to revisit the webinar that you have attended, please go through the University of Tokyo India office website and you can find the recordings there. So thank you very much for sticking with us till the end. Today we had presentation from 3 of the top universities in Japan. They gave a very comprehensive insight into the education system and admission procedure, along with the campus life, fee structure, career opportunities, and many other aspects. So we have many more sessions with different universities and different programs coming up. So keep visiting the website of University of Tokyo India office for information on the upcoming session. So that's all from our side in today's session. Thank you and take care.